Vote. Dennis? Donna?
Here.
Tony?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
And the president is also here. Absent tonight is Jill. Jill hasn't made it back to the park yet. She's still up north, so she is excused. You'll also notice that tonight, Tim Cunningham is not in our presence. And at this point in time, I'd like to read his resignation letter.
Ooh. Yeah.
Hey, somebody asked for
The Board of Directors and all members of Plantation Estates Mobile Home Incorporated. I, Tim Cunningham, hereby resign from the Board of Directors and the Vice Presidency, effective immediately. Also, I resign as the Corporation Coordinator for the following positions: ADT Call List, Janitorial Services, Park Buildings and Grounds, Pest Control of Common Grounds. I have a second letter to read. To the Board of Directors and all members of Plantation Estates Mobile Home Incorporated. I, Lisa Cunningham, hereby resign from the Corporation Coordinator of Real Estates and Resident Community of Plantation Estates Mobile Home Owners Incorporated, effective immediately. I also resign as Corporation Co-Coordinator of Plantation Estates Directory. Sincerely, Lisa Cunningham. That may come to a shock for a lot of you, as it did me. Okay, we've lost, in my opinion, two very good, very hard-working individuals who have dedicated a lot of hours and a lot of love they put back into this park. And I'm sorry that they both have decided to resign.
Was it gargling?
Well, now that we all know it, a vacancy on the board now exists. Anyone wishing to volunteer, please have your resume to me by this Friday, November the 6th, and we'll have another meeting next week to decide who will fill those vacancies. Good evening, everyone. Everyone here is hopefully adult and honest enough to handle themselves appropriately. This meeting will be a peaceful display of differences, or you will be asked to leave, and or the meeting will be adjourned. The agenda this evening is as originally printed on the form, insubordination and dissension within the board and among residents within our park. At this time, I would like to start this meeting off with my first meeting with Donna Ackerman, which occurred a year or so ago. We were in a board meeting and Donna jumped from her chair, startled everybody at that time, and started accusing the board like they're spending money like a bunch of drunken sailors. Not sailors, Puerto Ricans, I'm sorry. Following this, Donna continued to attend meetings wearing headphones and had her back turned towards the board. Donna this year became our new treasurer. Demanded that a complete audit be conducted, that she wouldn't accept the job until that had occurred. And I'm not sure that Donna had that audit done. Perhaps she did. I've never heard back. Donna also currently would like to have our current CPA, whose name is Mindy, she would like to have her responsibilities either reduced or Mindy terminated. Donna, along with Trudy, led a group of people in regards to closing the pool okay? And I'm gonna talk about that for a bit,
Bullcrap.
okay? Hold on. I spent a lot of time in regards to the pool closing. I didn't want to close it. My wife and I even had a pretty heavy discussion about closing it. And in all reality, before I made any decisions, I'm going to tell you what I did. I went to the Lee County Health Department to see what their recommendation was. I met with them, I talked with them, I had numerous questions, and their recommendation to me was that we should close that pool. I didn't stop there. I called the Lee County Sheriffs. I spent over an hour talking to a sergeant at Lee County, and in turn, his recommendation was that he felt we should close the pool, but he would send out a special task force officer to talk to me about that. So I also went next door and I talked to Sun Home representatives in regards to what they were doing. They had already closed their pool. Several board members came to me. There was never a meeting held amongst board directors, but they came to me, they called me, or they came over, and we talked individually about what their thoughts were in regards to closing that pool. I didn't stop there. I hadn't had enough. I couldn't believe that adults couldn't follow the rules of the law of the land at that time. So what I did was I had 3 individuals, one being my wife, myself, and another board member, visit the pool site. That all 3 of us took 3 trips up to the pool and found out while we were there that social distancing wasn't being followed. And that was reported by me, my wife, and another board member. Based upon that, okay, late last spring, I made the decision. I didn't take it to the board. I took that responsibility on myself to close the pool. We had to do something. So that's what I did. Okay, I'm sure that didn't make anybody happy in this part. I know I wasn't happy about it, but it was something that needed to be done to protect us so we could all see smiling faces down here again this year. Donna and I have had several occasions where we were doing park business and she decided to hang up on me, okay? She became angry, frustrated, whatever, and hung up. There's been cases where I was called names, in particular by Donna, Jane Hill, and Dennis McWilliams. Okay? I've been called a bully. Okay? I've been told, we put you in that job, we can take you out. And honestly, the job doesn't pay a lot of money, okay? So in all reality, other than the position, there isn't a whole lot to lose, okay? Other than maybe gaining some time back and having me be able to hit a little golf ball a little bit better than I'm capable of right now. During this summer, okay, our mail was illegally forwarded from the address here to a Wisconsin address. In front of me, I have from the United States Post Office, I have a change of address form. Dennis, I'll start this off with you, and I'll let you read that top paragraph. If you so desire, to read it out loud to the public.
I think you should.
Okay. The person signing this form states that he or she is the person, executor, guardian, authorized officer, or agent of the person for whom mail would be forwarded under this order. Anyone submitting false or inaccurate information on this farm is subject to punishment by imprisonment or fines or both under section, and it goes on to explain what section and every other thing. Okay? In all reality, okay, when the mail was being sent up to Wisconsin, okay,
Don't be looking at me.
it wasn't approved by this board. I know I didn't vote on it. I don't believe any other board members knew about it. And I spent a lot of time trying to track down the lost mail.
Oh,
Trudy, do you need to be excused? Are you all right?
I do not need to be excused.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
but thank you for asking me.
Okay, I thought maybe something was wrong.
No, well, there is.
Anyhow, after 6 emails to Donna, I got one back that said she was having the mail sent to somebody she trusted. That told me absolutely nothing. That's not the answer that I needed. I had asked her 6 times, where is our mail going? And that was the final response. Based upon that, I took it upon myself to go to the United States Post Office with my ID and proof that I was president of this corporation. And I had the mail immediately being stopped, forwarded to Wisconsin, and started delivering back here. The big problem with the mail, not only was it for our corporation, but the social club is a separate identity. Their mail also wasn't coming here in a timely fashion. And in all reality, they had some bills coming in that they were being punished on by fines, by fees, extra fees charged to them for late payment on certain bills. That certainly is not a way our corporation should operate. Donna's very handy with the computer. As the treasurer, I believe it's her responsibility to send out a monthly report in regards to our financial situation. It's not to be used for personal opinions. It's not to be used for personal views. It's not to be used for false accusations. It is for Donna's responsibility to report the financial condition of this corporation. At one point in time this past year, Donna has accused the board of having no integrity. She's been called down on that by one of our board members. He took it to heart and immediately called her up on it, and I believe she apologized for that. Recently, Donna sent out, and that's what brought us here tonight, Donna sent out another report on the Treasury, and in that, she stated that, folks, words to this effect, folks, if you remember, last spring, I told you I was going to renegotiate the contract with Comcast. And after many calls and letters, I finally got hold of a particular individual at Comcast. And she said, we should be receiving a check for $11,000 or $13,000 some odd dollars, okay? Well, it made it sound to me when I read that she tried to renegotiate the contract. I know as a board, okay, none of us voted for a new contract. We have a 5-year contract with Comcast that was negotiated by Stan from our park last year. It was approved by the board last fall, and that exact figure that Donna quoted there is the same exact figure that Stan had negotiated for the year before. So in all reality, Donna didn't do anything with that as far as I know. But if she did, I'd like to hear it tonight. When Donna left, okay, to go back up north,
I'm gonna stare right there.
she had no one to cover her duties. Tim Cunningham and I discussed this, and we felt that her position on the board was a vital position, that she needed somebody to cover her duties. Tim even furnished her an email to that effect, but to no avail. Donna didn't have her duties covered, okay? When Donna left, she also left this board, this corporation, without any checks. Donna feels that no one else in here other than her should be able to write a check.
Correct.
In all reality, there was a lot of work done this summer, some of it under an emergency condition that needed checks written ASAP. One of the things we had done, we had this air conditioner in this building replaced, and it failed primarily because of lack of maintenance. Anyhow, the young man who changed out that air conditioner for us billed his own credit card for that air conditioner, and he asked us specifically for checks, for a check payment. I went down to see Mindy in Estero, and she furnished me with checks so that bill could be paid. Now, for some reason, and I don't know what it is, Donna is concerned that I wrote 3 checks to Back Bay, and I will tell you all, because I want you to know it, okay? Yeah, that's right, I did. I wrote 1 check for a service call. I wrote 1 check for that air conditioning being replaced, that air conditioner being replaced. And I wrote 1 check at a later date to have all the thermostats in here changed. Before, if you look on the wall, those thermostats were the old mercury tiled switch thermostats that were probably 20, 30 years old, and none of us could read them anymore. So those thermostats have been changed with new, modern thermostats that's right above your head, Trudy, with big letters in it so that we can see them.
Are you like picking on me right now?
No, I'm telling you where it's located. That's
Okay,
one of
thank
them.
you, Dan.
Okay,
for
I'm not
saying that.
picking on you.
Okay,
Trudy.
thank you, Dan.
I'm stating a fact.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Keep quiet.
Excuse me,
Keep quiet.
Bob, you're telling me to keep
Hold
quiet?
it. I'm not gonna put up with any talk from the crowd.
Or from the board?
Or the board.
What about the board member?
Or from the board.
Okay, thank you. He's the one that started.
This past year, we had one of our board members lured into a local gathering here at one of the homes, and an argument broke out between Don Ackerman and this board member. And that board member's name is Bob Kingsley. Donna at that time was taping this disagreement, okay? We've had other board members that have made a few mistakes, me included. And in all reality, a threat was made to another board member, or at least she took it that way. But we handled it like adults, and we, I hope, put it aside so that not many of you know about it, okay? Because I don't see a need to broadcast bad news within the park.
Good one, sir.
That gets me to another thing that Donna did recently, and that is that, well, I'm not done, Trudy.
Oh.
Do you mind not saying my name all the time? Why do you keep saying my name?
Trudy, your next outburst, I'll ask you to leave.
There you go, buddy.
What did he say? I didn't hear him.
Ask you to resign.
Al's the next one first.
You can't have a meeting if everybody.
Hold it, I'm gonna keep order here tonight, and that's my goal, all right? If people don't like me calling your name, if you're making threats on trying to get me out of here, okay? That's the wrong thing to do. Sir, you say that again, and you are out the door.
There you
I'm
go.
in, Listen, I will adjourn this meeting right now.
Dan,
Yeah.
continue with your speech.
Pat, I'm not going to open up the floor at this time. Okay, thank you, Pat.
Continue, right. Continue.
Okay, once Donna returned back to Plantation Estates, Donna informed me that she would collect the mail, even though I had sent her 2 emails saying that I would continue to get the mail within this park. She opted to do it once again by herself. Recently, the social club contacted me that they have a bit of a problem because some of their mail is being opened by somebody. And that was reported to me by the real estate committee chairperson, Lisa Cunningham. Another thing that occurred this summer, and probably you've all have heard it because you all read it on your websites, and that is that Donna informed the park about a B&E that occurred at a mobile home over here on Ash Street. Well, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. Before people send information out like that, they need to think, all right? Because that had a negative impact on many within this park. That email was sent out to all of our northern people, and what it did, it put a little fear of God in them, that maybe their place wasn't okay. We had people here in the park that called us up one night to go look at a van whose window had been knocked out. That wasn't the case. The guy had driven the van, rolled down the window, and forgot to roll it back up. It was under his cardboard. We had another incident where a lady called, was concerned about a vehicle parked out in front of her house. Okay? What it was, we went and checked it out. What it was a construction vehicle parked out there. They were doing work across the street and had parked there with their vehicle. Nothing was wrong. The biggest negative impact that caused was that it had a negative impact on a sales here in Plantation Estates. Okay, a sale was lost because of a B&E. Now imagine yourself reading the local newspaper, reading the local computer jargon that's out there, and in all reality, okay, you find out that Plantation Estates may not be the greatest place to move into because of B&Es. Okay? I don't see where that's beneficial. While Donna was sending out that email to everybody, I was working with Lee County Sheriffs, getting night patrols in here for a month. I thought that would be beneficial to all of those here. Once Donna returned back to Plantation Estates, she demanded from me that I return all those checks that I had not written to her and for me to stop writing checks. I know it's Donna's responsibility to write the checks. However, she didn't furnish me those checks. I took them over to Mindy, who was the source who had given me those checks, and they are now in her possession. As a partial board, we discussed Ace Hardware. We have a credit list over there where representatives can go in and show them ID and be able to charge stuff to Plantation Estates. It's a good working system. However, okay, I went over there to Ace Hardware to look at the list. I'm not on the list, I'll tell you that right now, but Donna's name appeared there. Now I'm wondering deep down inside when she last went over to Ace Hardware and bought a keg of nails. I don't know when that occurred. I don't know why she was placed on there, but she went out on that list without board approval. And I see no reason for her there. At this point in time, I'd like to open it up to any board members wishing to speak. Are there any board members wishing to speak?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
please leave your mask on.
No, I can't breathe. Thank you. Can you shut yours off, please? Thank you.
Your mask has got to be on.
Oh,
How's that
Your
feel?
mask will be worn at all times.
okay. Oh,
Everybody?
does anybody else has got theirs on? This one isn't working.
No.
Hello? Okay. All right, Dan, you've presented your case. Now let me present mine. This is not about being insubordinate. It's about doing my job. The feeling of family has been lost under Dan's leadership. I'm here to serve you. All summer, I have received verbal abuse from Dan about my questions regarding bids and rules. I want this community based on being a family, but for Dan, it's a business. Dan's already mentioned the pool closing. I was never consulted about the pool closing and was told 3 different versions on why it was closed. I never hung up on him. As far as calling you names, yeah, and I know I've been called names too by Bob and probably other members of this board. The mail was not illegally forwarded to Wisconsin. If you read on there, I am a legal representative of this park. Check the Sunbiz. I paid for the mailbox, lockbox in Wisconsin out of my own money. The only mail I received during that time was a bill for the insurance. Nothing ever came for the social club. If it had, I would have scanned it and immediately sent it to Lisa. Oh, yeah, and I didn't need your approval from the board because I am the treasurer and the treasurer handles the bills. The bill I did receive that was the insurance bill, if I hadn't got it, I wouldn't have contacted Tom, and Tom would have told me not to pay that bill. It was double what it should have been. I don't know if you all know, Tom Seidel saved this park thousands of dollars by doing his negotiation with the insurance and getting a certificate of elevation for this building. And once they stopped the forwarding, you talk about the social club not getting bills, I never received another piece of article all summer long that should have gone to the treasurer. The monthly reports. It sounds like Dan says I wasn't doing my job. All summer long, I did my job. I was managing the reports. Mindy would send me her report. I'm running the exact same report on my spreadsheets. I'm making sure everybody in the park that's paid from the web vault. Whenever I've been off with Mindy, it's because of the sales of the houses. She manages to hold on to checks sometimes for a whole month before she deposits them. So I'd like to know, what duties did I miss this summer? Please explain.
I have nothing to say, my term's up.
Oh, okay, so he can't tell you what duties I wasn't doing because I was doing them all summer long on the computer and I have tons of communication with Mindy. I don't understand why Mindy had checks. She never writes a check. Everything she does is posted on the bank. How many people do online banking? See, okay, so you know what I mean. She goes into the bank, she posts the check, they mail it. Bob and my husband didn't have a disagreement. I have it all recorded. Bob came in, my husband was just sitting there, he never said a word to Bob. Bob's the one that said, wipe that smile off your face. No, not yet. The mail again, when I did pick up the mail, since I got here, there was one bill for us that was from the Florida Department of Revenue. I right away got a hold of Mindy, and she said, yes, go ahead and pay it. And the other bill was for the ADP. And I realized, I'd opened it, I realized it belonged to the social club. I immediately walked it over and put it in Lisa's mailbox. The break-in in the park, I felt it was important for the members who were up north to know, so they can let the people who are looking at their houses to check on them. I asked Dan to return the checks because I felt like I'm back, I should have them. If he gave them to Mindy, that's fine, but it's interesting because she has never, in the last 9 months, written any checks. As far as Ace Hardware, my name is not on the list to purchase anything. My name was on the list so that they email me the invoices, so that I can make sure that the invoices are paid. Dan lied about Tom Seidel and threatened to remove him from his volunteer job handling our insurance, because evidently Tom wasn't responding to Dan as quickly as Dan thought he should. Dan, I think you have a problem with the phone. You were calling me this summer on my Florida phone. I told you in May where you can call me, and on the website it clearly has next to my name my cell phone number. Okay, the board consists of 7 members, including myself. In September, the pool needed some repairs. I got an email I didn't know about it. I got an email from Dan saying the board voted 6-1 in favor of doing the pool repairs without any bids. The guy who dissented was Denny. So Dan voted for me. When I asked him how did he possibly do that, I never heard a response. Again, he's told me not to pick up my mail. He's not allowing me to do my job. About the Comcast. Why did it take you till September 9th to fill out the paperwork to get that check? That paperwork should have been filled out in April. Also, why did you want it not direct deposited into our account, but sent via mail? And Bob, have you used the trimmer purchased by the park to trim the lawn in the common areas? And did anyone ever take the video Tom Seidel suggested for insurance purposes? If so, where are they kept? This is about the park and the money you're spending without any regard for anybody else. Thank you.
Wow.
My turn.
You wish to speak? Okay, are there any other board members wishing to speak on these matters?
May I speak?
Sure.
Me, Dad.
Oh, here we go.
Let's go back to Trudy.
Oh, Jesus.
That's right, young lady. I was going around, there's a man walking around with a clipboard. He just come in from Michigan. Okay. Michigan had one of the biggest deals with this culvert disease going around. Okay, I want to find him and tell him to quit going around, because we have ladies in this park that if they get this stuff, they're gone. And he's walking around with a clipboard and putting it in their face. Okay? So I seen Trudy down there on our street talking to 2 ladies. I pull up. I said, Trudy, what the hell's going on? And she says, I signed it. Then she says, Bob, get 6 foot away from me. I
Correct.
says, I can't, I'm on a golf cart. And I started pulling, I did swear. I'll admit to it, to no end, I swore. I left, okay? I come back around the same night, went down to Tim's. You people in your house here were hollering at me. Okay, I come back, I seen Trudy in the house. So I walk up and asked Mrs. Hill if I could come in. And she said, you don't swear. Okay, I come in. I said, Trudy, I'd like to apologize for what I said. Oh my God. And she says, I won't accept it because you got some guy coming to your house tomorrow morning. I said, what time do you want me to be there? Okay. Then Don Ackerman was sitting in the back there smiling. I looked at him and said, Don, what are you smiling at? He says, I'm going to kick your ass. I says, come on out on the road.
I've got it on recording,
You
that's
got
a
it on
lie. I've got it on tape and it's a lie. What you just said was a lie and I've got it on tape.
You
Where's
called
the
him.
lie? Where's the lie,
He
Danny?
never said anything to you. He just said he was just smiling.
Okay, wait a
Well,
minute.
listen to the
Oh,
tape.
oh,
Yeah,
Wait a
you can
minute.
have tape.
Bob,
You
go
can
ahead,
tape.
give your talk, Bob, give your speech.
Go ahead, Bob.
That's what happened, and I walked out. So, that's my side of the story, you can stick to whatever side of the story you want, but that's the honest to God truth.
How about the truth? Thank you. How about the truth? How about the truth?
Okay. Bob, are you done?
No, then I went to the pool, I picked up a big piece of branch, and Mrs. Hill's in the pool, and she says, "Who are you?" I kept on walking. I got the branch and come back by, and she said, "Oh, you're that guy that stood out in the road and screamed at us." I said, "Mrs. Hill, no, it isn't, it's the other way around, you guys are screaming at me."
Excuse
So-
me, you were standing at our door screaming into us. You were there screaming at us.
Oh, well, only Mrs. Hill,
Liar.
just so
Hold
now,
it from the floor.
okay?
Cameras on the floor.
Bob has the floor.
Okay,
Bob
I'm
has the
done,
floor.
I'm done, that's what happened.
The floor will have an opportunity to speak to those that have signed this list.
I just wanted
Okay.
to ask you something that you just said. I'm the one that called about the car window at that house, and I don't understand why you were talking about it.
What a liar.
The window was broken, and they had tape along the window, and I called you and said there's a van and a vacant house that I thought was vacant, and I don't understand why you mentioned that.
Why don't you call
Yeah.
the police?
Yeah.
That's not their job.
Well, I didn't know who it belonged to.
Okay.
I mean, he's.
From the floor, if I could, please.
Okay, I just
Okay.
wanted to say that.
All right, next on the list, Jane Hill.
What?
Speak up, Jane.
You have signed on
Yeah,
the list to
you're signed
request
on the
to
list,
speak.
so if you want to
Okay, I'm just gonna make remarks about what's been going on, because I was there for some of this stuff. This man here, this Bob, he came up to our house and stood at the door. You didn't come in, you stood there yelling. All these people are sitting there, and you're yelling at everybody. And you called Don Ackerman out, you were gonna kick his ass. And those are the exact words you said. And that's what you said.
Okay.
You got it on tape?
Yeah, but right now I have Dave Weiss.
Yeah, I would like to mention-
So you're a liar.
No, I'm not, it's right there on tape.
Yeah.
Are you telling me we invited you in?
You were
To the
standing-
floor, I'd like to mention, excuse me, I'd like to mention this. This meeting tonight isn't to pick on one another.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Dan,
Wait a minute.
I'm just telling the truth.
Wait a minute.
Dan, that's fine, but
There's other witnesses that saw it. I'm
Pick
not
on
the only
who?
one. The lady?
Shift his head. For God's sakes.
What a piece of shit.
No kidding.
Are you done,
Jane, are you
Jane?
done?
No, it's something else I'd like to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. Breathe, breathe. Breathe.
I just want you guys to know something. Myself and my husband have lived in this park for approximately 25 years. It's been wonderful. We've all got along well. The officers, they were good for us and everything. Now, since him come into the park,
No.
no,
Dan and Bob.
Dan and Bob, it's completely different. People are upset, they're mad, it's nothing like it used to be. And after 25 years I've been here. And Donna, she's probably close to 25 years. And all the work that they have done for this park and how much they have done, and to be treated like this makes me want to vomit. Oh,
Right, right. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
No, it's not.
I'm sitting here listening to all of this, and I'm probably next on the list. But it's a sad commentary. You know, we're supposed to be a board, and we have not acted as a board. I have not been included in many of the decisions. I've heard Mr. Bizarre sit up here and say that he had partial board meetings. We had a decision with the pool. I was not once asked my opinion, and I was a board member. And I tried to talk to Dan a couple times about it, and the last comment that he gave me is that I said what I had to say, and I think it was, are we done shooting that dog or killing that dog? Something like that. But this is almost like a kindergarten class.
It is. Oh,
I mean,
agreed.
he's
Agreed.
listing things against Donna, and I said, like I said, I'm probably next on the list.
35 minutes of beat up Donna.
Yeah, and, you know, if we're supposed to be a board, I don't think.
Get it up by your mouth, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If we're supposed to be a board, we should be a board. We should be a board of 7 people.
Yeah, right.
And we should have a vote, every one of us, on any actions we take, and that's not been happening.
And no one's subordinate. No one is
And, yeah,
subordinate to
and no
anyone else.
one can be insubordinate. To be insubordinate, you have to be subordinate to someone. And we volunteer. We volunteer, you elected most of us to represent you. And I think that Donna did the right thing by letting people know about the break-in. Let people
Absolutely.
know, hey, you gotta be on your guard. You gotta look out. That's just common sense. The issue with Mindy, I don't know Mindy, I wouldn't know if she walked in here. But we're paying her about $3,000 a year to do what Donna does. And Donna put that, she has a column called the Treasurer's Report. Dan was upset because she put some opinions in there.
There was no opinions, it was all facts.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I think that's what she should do. You should know where your money, and when you're spending somebody else's money, you have a right to tell them where it's going.
Right. Right.
My comments. Was that it?
Okay. Pat Daniels?
You want me to use, okay.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's Pat Daniels. I live on the back street at 53 Poplar Place. This is my wife, Sarah. And we've been here about 20 years. My family lives here. Billy, Don, Charles used to live here, okay? That's who I am. I used to be on the board. And I'm gonna try to stick to the agenda, okay? I don't have any comments that I wanna make other than agenda items. Finances, in my personal opinion, that's all my opinion is personal, should be at a finance meeting. That's where they belong, okay? That's an opinion. Everybody in this park lived 60-something years and never had to hear an opinion from me. You'll be okay. You can make it another 60 if you never hear me again, okay? Now, I'm aware that everybody does it for nothing. I did it for nothing. There's some other people in this room that did it for nothing. And I know it's tough to make a large group of people happy, okay? And you're not gonna get it done all the time. It's that simple, okay? So thank you for your efforts, every one of you, including the guy that got up and left, okay? Now, I wanna cover insubordination real quick. My English teacher wife told me the other day that insubordination is failure to take orders. There is nothing that I can find in the state statute, which is 719, that gives anybody the authority to give anybody else an order. So that covers my opinion about that, okay? No, nobody's subordinate. Nobody has individual authority. You have collective authority. You gotta read it. You're supposed to attest to the fact that you read and understand that, okay? That's the end of my talk about that, okay? That's enough. The other one was dissension. Dissension, to me, is disorder. I think we've got it in spades. Okay, and I don't honestly know what to say other than everybody in this park is an adult. And if you feel like that you can't live with somebody else, then I encourage you to seriously think about resigning. Okay? I have had a disagreement with one or two of you, and I have voiced it, and we moved on. And I can still do that, okay? Okay, that's enough out of me, isn't it? All right,
No.
okay, have a good day.
Sue Briggs?
Okay, can you hear me? Oh, yes. I'm not here to point fingers at anybody. It's just so sad that our park is divided. And because we're all adults, I would think we should be able to sit with each other.
Talk a little louder.
Okay, we should be able to sit with each other.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't doing it.
Okay, okay. Because we're all adults, can we just sit with each other, discuss what our problems are, put it behind us, and just go? Because we all have this park and we all love it here, and we have had a family. Okay. That's it. Okay.
Yay, so,
Beth Brewer?
Beth is not here, she's not feeling well.
Don Cruz?
Excellent. Short and sweet, excellent.
I got involved in this park through my parents back in the late 70s, before it became what we know is now as a community-owned park, or a member-owned park. And I saw the movement when the gentleman wanted to sell the park, and all the people in this park got together, except for one, 149 out of 150, got together, made the commitment, buy their lots, buy the guy out, and become what we are today. However, in the last 3 years, we weren't what we were back then. And I think we need to go back to the day when somebody has a problem, you contact your neighbors, or you put a plea out in the park, and okay, who can get together to help them out? You know, it's just, I don't know why we can't go back there. I just remember those days. So anyway, let's move forward. Going back to where we've been the last 3 years ain't no good. Thank you.
I was there then, John. I was there then.
Good job, John.
There's a name on this list, perhaps you know Dave Weisenberg?
Yeah, he's on the phone right now.
Okay.
Dave? Yes? Would you like to speak at all?
No, I do have one comment. I would certainly like to reinforce what John just spoke to, that we are one body. We need to be together. We need to be friends. I have found Plantation Estates a second home, and there isn't a person in that park that I feel any animosity towards. I've had disagreements with people. We've worked it out. But where we're going today, or this evening, is uncalled for. I think that folks need to get together, understand what their duties are. The board works as a board of a whole, 7 members. And I guess that's about all I have to say. I just would like to see everyone come together. I like everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yes, go on.
I think this last name is Bill Carter.
Yeah, I don't think Bill, did
I
Bill
would like
come?
to say something.
Okay, please come forward, state your name, so everybody
Betty
knows who you are.
Escravo.
Here you go.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, babe.
I'm sitting here, you know that I haven't been here too long, but I'm so sad.
Uh-huh.
And you know I'm not a sad person. I like everyone here. This is worse than when I used to work in the school system with little kids. He started it, she started it, no I didn't. I can't believe this. We are all adults and we all need each other. I don't know about you, but I need you because my family is very far away. And the family that I have is all of you. When he fell, I had no one here when he fractured his neck. But I had you. And that was enough for me. So all this nonsense needs to stop.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we have a beautiful park, and I hear so many good things about this park that you have no idea. From real estate agents, from other people, they tell you're so lucky to be here. This park, they get along, they have parties, they get together. And I came here to bring happiness. And I'm very sad that today I found sadness. And this needs to stop. Please think about this. We all need each other. We all have our families far, far away. When we're here, we have us. With that, I'm done. I love you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one other comment. You mentioned there is a board, and there are 7 people on that board. And I have to tell you, in the past year, all 7 of us have not been included, have not been communicated to on things that were happening, which we should have been, because people know we're on the board, and they ask us a question, and we don't have an answer. And I don't want to go into a lot of them, but I'm asking, right now, it seems like the board's ran by 3 or 4 people. And they think, and I don't know how Dan feels, I think maybe he thinks if he gets 4 board members to agree with him, it's okay. But you have to put that before every board member. And then if the majority agrees with you, that's fine. But that's not happening today.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. I just want to reiterate my question that never was answered by Dan is how did my vote get cast on that poll with that email that said there were 7 votes and there was 1 dissension and I didn't even know about it? Can you please explain?
Donna, when I didn't hear back from you, a no response is considered to be a yes vote.
And you were calling me in for
I had to move on.
Right on.
Yeah. From Dennis at that time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard you say so. What a mess. What a mess.
I would prefer, I don't mind emailing,
That's not working again. You done?
but. Hello?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, I don't mind emailing, but it takes considerable more time than just a phone call. You have told me that you didn't want to talk to me on the phone,
No, I really prefer email.
okay? And you prefer email.
I do.
Okay? So, I guess from now on in, I'll take my time and I will try to satisfy your needs. I'm hoping you can satisfy mine.
Ugh.
Okay, anybody else wishing to speak?
I want to say something.
Okay, please come forward, state your name. It's still on.
My name's Connie Wells. I've been here 10 years. And my daughter is getting ready to buy a house, and I think I'm gonna tell her to forget it. This is very sad, very sad.
can be
You're right,
fixed.
you're right.
It can be if we want to work together. If he wants to treat everybody as an equal on the board, and John and I have been the ones that have been excluded on most things. And if communications is really a vital part of any leader. And if you can't communicate, you're not much of a leader.
Trudy, hey Trudy, you want to speak?
Okay,
And
Trudy.
then,
Be careful.
Rick, is that you? Okay, you're next then, I would say. Yeah, it is. It is on. Yeah, but plug it.
Is it on?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so I guess for this meeting, are we going to be able to, can we please resolve the issue? Is it on still?
Yeah.
Can we resolve the issue that we're having? And I'm not talking about, the differences in personalities. As you can see, and I apologize for being so rude, but as you can see, one board member stormed out of the meeting.
You gotta hold it up
Hold
closer.
your mouth. Hold it close to your mouth, Trudy.
One board member stormed out of the meeting. I guess that sort of tells you what his personality is like. And board members should be representing all of us. So meanwhile, we just need to get back to Plantation Estates. And I know everybody in this whole room wants that done. So whether it's a change of somebody on the board, which it appears to be, one person, the episode we just had with one member, my God, that should show all of us that with a temper tantrum he just threw, perhaps he should not be on the board. And obviously, there's got to be some changes in the board. So can we go forward with that and make some changes and then go on to everybody getting along? That's my question.
You want to give it to Rick then?
Absolutely.
I'm Rick Conley, 26 Cottonwood. Sally's here with me. We've been residents here for about 4 years now. I just had one request of the board. There's other things probably too, but one thing in particular. If we have an issue that affects all of us, I would like to request that the board convene a meeting where we can all like this talk about it and discuss it as a group and have question and answer, rather than the board assuming that if they talk to 2 or 3 or a number of residents, they now have adequate input to make a decision. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Shirley? I don't know if it'll work. You gotta shut that one off. Sarah, shut that one off. Okay, now turn that one on. Let's see if it works.
My name is Ellen Bordieri, and I don't know if we're gonna have a social club, but I just wanna tell you that first of all, I'm the sunshine lady. I don't bring the sun, but hopefully if anybody has a death in the family or gets sick, I'm at 107 Maple Lane. Please get in touch with me so I can send somebody well wishes. And I just want to say, my husband and I, one night, caught robbers, and I think we're the only ones that caught them that night. And we were fairly new in the park, and we didn't know what to do after they were robbing 4 houses on Ash. And I called Pat Daniels, because he was the only one we knew to call. And he said, stay right where you are, and I'll call the sheriffs. And then the sheriffs came. We were there until I think 3 in the morning. The helicopters came. So I'm kind of leery when I see strange things happening. And if you see it, kind of report it, because that's why we would have, if they did catch the robbers. So, I mean, you have to be alert. And I just want to say, anybody that's doing night watch, I don't know, there's not too many people over there on Ash. So, be aware of that. I don't know if we found the doors open, and then one night we were doing night watch, we found somebody's car going, and my husband says, get out and check the car. Well, I opened the door and it was hot as heck, and there was cameras and everything on the dashboard, and come to find out, it was Doris's car. She left the car running for 4 hours. And she came out, we finally came out, I said, you're lucky somebody didn't steal your car, because the car was going. So, but I just want to tell you, if there's anybody that's sick or anything, please get in touch with me. And I'm like Mr. Cruz, my family was here, and that's why I'm here. And I know my mom and dad would be churning over in their grave if they knew what was happening now.
Amen.
Clint?
Sorry, I'm like Don, I can't breathe of these things.
You know.
I get in more trouble.
Fogs your glasses up too.
Yeah, it does.
I think it's off. I think is it off?
Most of you know me, I'm Clint Albright. Was on the board, was vice president. It's not an easy task, as Richard knows, he was on the board. Several of you were, Pat. And I do want to second what Pat was saying. The dissension, the insubordination. If you have a grievance against somebody, take it up with the board. You know, bringing the whole community involved, in my opinion, is useless. You know, because you got 150 houses in here. Most of you are married, so that means you got 300 opinions. And everybody knows what an opinion is. Everybody's got one, and most of them stink. Kind of like something else. But, you know, we need to reconcile whatever the differences is and move forward.
Right.
Whatever it may be, whoever it may hurt, you know. We didn't agree with everything when I was on the board, and you're not going to agree with whoever's on the board. And if somebody else feels like they can do a better job than the people that are here, by golly, put your name in there and go for it. Because it ain't a piece of cake, it ain't a walk in the park. And trust me, my wife and I had several discussions before I resigned. So, and just like somebody else said, you know, we almost sold out this year too. Because we'd already heard things. But I've got too much intestine in here now. Just want to say that.
Thanks, Clint.
Thank you.
Huh?
I'll give you $5 for that RV.
Anybody else wishing to speak? Since no one's indicated a desire to speak.
Al.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
You want to give that to Al?
Sorry, Al. I didn't see your hand.
Oh, yes, sir.
My name is Al Hill. We live on 14 Cottonwood with my wife Jane. I'd like to address the board. In my opinion, the board of directors' primary concern is to run interference so that these lovely people here doesn't have any problems. That's your primary goal. The second thing that bothers me is that, and I like to say it correctly right away, is that the fact that we're paying someone to write checks for our bills. And we have a qualified treasurer, very qualified. And why this isn't being done here, I don't know. I understand we're paying, what, $3,000 a year? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that should be corrected immediately. Thank you very much.
Okay, is there anybody else in attendance wishing to speak? Since no one's indicated a desire to speak, we'll close that portion of our meeting. And I'd like to say this. It is my hope and intent that these issues will be worked on and will improve after this meeting. Thank you for your comments and concerns. And at this point in time, I would accept the motion to adjourn. Okay, motion made. Okay, and I have it seconded. We'll take a vote. Donna?
Yes.
Dennis? Tony? And Dan, okay?